Hi, McKee Scholars. Today we're going to be working on a Syllasearch. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the words that we're going to be working on today. I'm going to give your definition, and then I'm going to read it and use it in a sentence. Okay? So our words today are bisect, to divide something into two equal parts. Draw a line that bisects the square. Biscuit, a small light roll that is eaten with a meal. I ate a biscuit with my breakfast. Pilot. We all know what a pilot is. A person who flies an airplane. The pilot told us to fasten our seatbelts. Pimple. It's a small red swollen spot on the skin. There was a pimple on her face. Pirate. Someone who steals from a ship at sea. The pirate boarded the ship and stole their gold. Dissect. To divide something into parts. Streams dissect the land. Dilute. To make thinner or less strong by adding water or another liquid. You can dilute the orange juice with water. Dispute, a disagreement or argument. They could not settle their dispute. Disconnect, to separate something from something else. We had to disconnect the hose from the spray nozzle. Now, before we begin, I want to make sure that you have already printed out your Syllasearch syllables and cut them out, or if you don't have a printer, you can go ahead and write them just right here like Mrs. Perlmutter did, and then you can go ahead and you can just cut them out, okay? If you have not done that yet, please pause the video and go ahead and do that. Okay, McKee Scholars, now you should have all of your letters cut out. They should be laid out, organized in front of you, maybe on a table or on the floor, whatever's most comfortable for you. All right, we're going to begin. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at each word and we're going to break those words up into syllables and we're going to count those syllables. Okay, let's look at the first one. Bisect. I want you to say bisect in your head. Bisect. Now let's break that up. Bisect. How many syllables are in bisect? 2, correct. What letters make up the first syllable in bisect? Yes, B-I. What letters make up the second syllables in bisect? Correct, S-E-C-T. All right, let's look at biscuit. I want you to go ahead and say biscuit in your head. Biscuit. Now let's break that up into syllables. Ready? Let's count them. Biscuit. How many are there? 2 again. All right, what letters make up the first syllable in biscuit? Good. B-I-S. What about the letters that make up the second syllable in biscuit? C-U-I-T. Good. All right, let's look at pilot. I want you to go ahead and say pilot in your head. Pilot. Let's break it up into syllables. Pilot. How many syllables are in pilot? 2 again. What are the letters that make up the first syllables? Good. P-I. What letters make up the second syllables? L-O-T. All right, you guys got this. Let's move on to pimple. All right, say pimple in your head. Pimple. Let's break it up into syllables. Pimple. What letters make up the first syllables in pimple? P-I-M. What about the second syllables in pimple? Good. P-L-E. All right, pirate. Ready? Say it in your head. Now let's break it up into syllables. Pirate. How many are there? 2. Good. What are the letters that make up the first syllable in pirate? P-I. Good. What about the letters that make up the second syllable in pirate? Good. R-A-T-E. All right, let's look at dilute. Okay, say it in your head. Dilute. Ready? That's separated. Dilute. How many syllables are there? 2. What are the letters that make up the first syllable in dilute? D-I. What about the letters that make up the second syllables in dilute? L-U-T-E. All right, let's look at dispute. Dispute. Say it in your head. All right, ready? Let's break it up into syllables. Dispute. How many are there? 2. Excellent. What letters make up the syllables, the first syllables in the word dispute? D-I-S. Good. What about the second syllables in dispute? Good. P-U-T-E. All right, let's look at disconnect. Okay, I want you to say disconnect in your head. Ready? Disconnect. Disconnect. How many syllables are in that word? 3. You got it. All right. What are the letters in the first syllable of disconnect? D-I-S. Good. What about the second syllable? C-O-N. Very good. All right. What are the third syllable in disconnect? N-E-C-T. Excellent. Now, I would like you to take a minute and I want you to go ahead and review these words. I want you to say them in your head. Bisect, ready? Biscuit, pilot, pimple, pirate, dilute, dispute, and disconnect. All right, now boys and girls, it's time for you to use those Syllasearch syllables that you cut out or you wrote down. I want you to look at my screen. Now, please put your syllables like I have mine. Your first column should be your first syllables. Your second column should be your second syllables, and your third column should be your third syllables. If yours does not look like mine, please pause the video and take a moment and do that. All right, do yours look like mine now? All right, let's begin. We're going to rebuild each of the words that we looked at in the last slide. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull a first syllable. And I want you to look at the second row, second column, and tell me what syllables went with by. Think about it for a second. Okay, go ahead and build it yourself. Go ahead and build that with your syllable letters. Good. You're right. Bisect. Right? Let's say it together. Bisect. Good. All right. Let's pull another one. Okay. I pulled the first syllable B-I-S. I want you to think about what second syllable goes with B-I-S. And I want you to go ahead and I want you to rebuild that word. Okay. Go ahead. Take a second. Okay, I'm going to rebuild mine. I added C-U-T. What word did we rebuild? Biscuit. Let's say it. Biscuit. All right. Let's try another one. This one I got P-I. All right, think about it. What second syllable was added on to P-I? Go ahead and do that for me. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do mine. What word did we rebuild? Pilot. Say that for me. Pilot. All right, let's try another one. Pim. All right, think about what second syllable goes with P-I-M. Go ahead and rebuild it. Okay, and I'm going to rebuild mine. Does yours look like mine? What word did we rebuild? Pimple. Go ahead and say that. Pimple. Fantastic. All right. We're going to move on to our first syllable, D-I-S. Okay, think about it. What second syllable goes with D-I-S? Okay, remember we have two D-I-S's. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull both up because You may have done one or the other. The first one that I'm going to show you, remember, is dispute. Let's say it together, dispute. The second one, remember, was that one with 3 syllables. It was dis, we added C-O-N, and then we added N-E-C-D. What word did we build? Disconnect. Good job. All right. Our next one is the first syllable, D-I. Okay, think about it. Which one of those goes with D-I? Okay, go ahead and put them together. I'll do the same. Okay, does yours look like mine? What word did we rebuild? Dilute. Excellent. All right, we have one more. Go ahead and put your first syllable and your second one that's left together. Okay, what did we rebuild? Dissect. Excellent. All right, boys and girls, I want you now to go ahead and take a look at this Syllasearch story. We are going to go through it. We're going to read it once together, and then I'm going to give you the directions on what I'm going to have you do once we're off this video. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to say the word, and I'd like you to repeat it. Bisect, bisect, biscuit, biscuit, pilot, pilot, pimple, pimple, dissect, dissect, dilute, dilute, dispute, dispute, disconnect, disconnect. Now, we're going to read this story together, and we're going to choral read it. So we're going to read it together. All right? Are we ready? One day, I looked at my face and discovered a pimple. I was very upset. I called my doctor. What can I do about the pimple on my face? I asked. The doctor told me to eat a biscuit. A biscuit? That's crazy. Then the doctor told me to take some Kool-Aid, dilute it in lots of water, and pour it on my face. The doctor and I got into a dispute. I told her I would disconnect the phone and no longer seek her advice. I found a new doctor. This doctor told me to get some special medicine for the pimple. However, you could only get the medicine in Texas. I almost got into another dispute with this doctor. Instead, I decided to go to Texas. I got on a plane to Texas. The pilot told us to fasten our seatbelts. I arrived in Texas, got my medicine, and went home. In 2 days, the pimple was gone. I was thrilled. I went to the kitchen and had a biscuit. All right. What I would like you to do next is I would like you to go back to our Google Classroom, go into the assignment, and you can either print out your Syllasearch story, or you can read it directly on the computer. If you print it out, you are going to highlight, circle, or underline these words as you read this a second time. So you're going to read it a second time, and you're going to highlight, underline, circle your Syllasearch words. Those of you who do not have a printer, you can go ahead and leave your story up on your computer like mine is, and you can take a piece of paper, and as you're reading, go ahead and write down your Syllasearch words. All right,